All right, good afternoon, grade 4s, and welcome to Natural Science. We are now in week 7. Okay, I am Mrs. de Klerk. I am your teacher, and I just want to remind you guys, please, to switch off your cameras and keep your chats related to the topic. Okay, so I will ask you some questions today, and then when I tell you to, you can write the answers for me in your chat box. Recap on what we did yesterday. We looked at reviving living things that seem to be non-living. We looked at germinating a seed. So we revived it. We looked at getting yeast to grow. And I'm interested to know if any one of you tried that experiment at home. Can you quickly type in your chat box? Did you try to make the yeast grow yesterday? Anyone who tried? No, you didn't. Yes, Zenzi, did you try? No. Oh, you guys must try it if you get a chance, okay? I'm happy for those who did try. Well done. We looked at non-living things. And we looked at things changing from living to non-living. Now let's quickly have a peek at what we will be looking at today. Okay, we are going to look at the basic structure of plants. And when we speak about the basic structure, there are 5 things we're going to look at. It's the roots, the stems, the leaves, the flowers, and the seeds. So today we are going to have a look at all of these individually. Okay. So let's start with the roots. A plant's roots are normally found underground. Not all of them, but most of them, right? And they have very important functions. Remember, I told you guys, some of you might have done this before, and this is very good then because now we're doing revision. Those of you who haven't done it before, no problem, then it's a new thing to you, okay? One of the functions of roots are to anchor the plant in the ground. If you just look at a plant in your mind, then that's one thing you can remember, that the roots will be the anchor of the plant. Try and remember this because I'm going to ask you questions later on. Because during this week, remember I told you guys you are the smarty class. You are a very smart class, so I need to ask you lots of questions because I know you will be able to answer them. Okay. Another function of a root is that it absorbs water and nutrients from the soil, and then it transports it to the rest of the plant. Okay, so the food and the water comes from the roots that it absorbs from the soil, and then it's transported to the rest of the plant. That is one of the functions of the roots. Some plants store food they make in their roots, like potatoes and like carrots. Do you guys know we can eat this as well? Look at this tree's roots. You see here, this tree's roots goes very, very deep into the soil. And if we just looked at what I said, the functions of it, one of them would be to anchor this very big tree. So you can know in big trees that it's rooted very deep into the soil. Otherwise, that tree won't be able to stand properly, right? Carrots. A carrot is also a root, and it stores food made by the plant. Okay, before I continue, I just want to see what I see the chat box flickering a lot. Okay, good. Let's continue. The next thing we'll be looking at, remember we just looked at roots. So in your mind, you can see a picture of the whole form of the plant. Okay, then remember we started at the bottom. We started with roots. Now we're moving up to the stem. Our stem connects the roots to the rest of the plant. And it also has very important functions. The stem supports the leaves and the flowers and the fruit. So you can basically look at it as the backbone of the plant. And then the stem carries nutrients and water from the roots to the other parts of the plant. So that is its function. It supports the leaves, the flowers and fruit, because you can think to yourself, if there was no stem, there would be nothing else, only roots. Okay, and then it carries the nutrients from the roots to the other parts of the plant. Some plants store the food that they produce in their stems. Here you'll see a picture of the stem. Okay. And here, who can guess this is the stem of which plant? Who knows? Type in your chat box if you know what plant this is. No one knows. My smarty class. Ha! I'm so happy I found something that I can show you that you. I really do like that answer. Here, it does look like it, right? I'm so happy that I found something that I can give you the answer to. This is a tomato stem plant. Interesting, right? Okay, let's quickly recap. We've already looked at two structures. The first one was, remember, we're starting at the bottom. The first one was roots. Okay, and roots have some functions, which I'm going to ask you about later again. Remember, it's an anchor. Then we got to the stem. Remember, also everything that we're doing today has some functions, okay? The stem supports the plant structure and it transports water and minerals. Let's look at what leaves do. Although many plants' leaves are green, leaves can also have many other colors. And you know, and we looked at this as well previously, that some leaves change color during autumn. And our leaves also, all of these have very important functions. Okay, so the function of a leaf, it absorbs the sunlight and it uses it to make food for the plant. Okay, who knows the big word that we use for this? What do we call it in scientific terms if the leaves absorbs the sunlight and it makes food for the plant? Who knows? Can you type it in your chat box if you know what is this process called? Does anyone know? What do you call the process? Ah, Nakwanda, clever. What do you call the process that plants use to produce food? Good, you guys are smart. Photosynthesis. There we go. You don't need to know the whole process in detail. You will learn about this next year in a lot of detail, okay? When you're in grade 5, you're going to learn this whole process. Okay, some plants use their leaves to store water or food. Let me give you an example of a cactus. A cactus stores water. That is why you don't, if you have a little cactus plant, you don't need to give it water every day. And then an example of a plant that stores food in its leaves, spinach and lettuce. Okay, leaves have small openings underneath that allows the plant to pass out extra water as part of the process of transpiration. Remember yesterday I told you, or during the week, I told you that transpiration is like a plant sweating. because during transpiration, there's a loss of water in exchange for carbon dioxide. Most leaves have veins, and you can see this very clearly in the picture, which are like tiny pipes that carry water and nutrients from the roots. Remember when we started speaking, we said it's from the roots. Then there's a stem and then the leaves, right? So these veins, they carry the water and the nutrients into the leaf. The veins also carry the food the leaf makes to the rest of the plant. Do you see those veins here everywhere? Very interesting to know that the leaves of the plant you play with outside, this is the food and the water that's all right. Let's go on to the next slide. Quickly to recap, we spoke about roots and their function. Then we moved up to the stem and its function. Then the leaves. And now we are going to speak about the flowers and the function of the flowers. That many plants have flowers, right? And the flowers are very important to the plant because the flowers make pollen to make seeds, and that will grow new plants. So we know that the flowers of the plants are very important. Now the flowers attract birds and insects and bees, like bees, to spread their pollen and then get pollen from other flowers. And then the flower itself will make fruit and seeds. Here I have some examples for you. And there, of course, like I told you, as always, I have to put a sunflower in because it's my favorite. Wow, look at these water lilies. Don't you guys just think that nature is absolutely beautiful? It is like God just painted a picture for us when we look outside and we can see this, right? And he made the flowers so beautiful and attractive for the insects and the birds. Okay, let's move on to the next slide. Now we are going to speak about seeds. So we've done roots, the stem, the leaves, and the flowers. So we'll speak about seeds and fruit now. Many plants make seeds and they store their seeds in different ways. They can store the seeds in their fruit, like peaches and oranges. What other fruit can you guys think of that store their seeds? Can you quickly type in your chat box which other fruit? Or just name a fruit for me. Apple, good choice. Strawberry, yes. Apple, yes. Good. Some will store it in pods, like beans and peas, and I'm going to show you a picture of that just now. Or on a cob, like a millie. Or on an ear, like wheat. I'm going to show you photos of all of them just now, okay? Plants grow their seeds from the plant's flower, like a dandelion or the acorns on an oak tree. Seeds are very important to plants because new plants can grow from seeds. Remember yesterday, we said it can either happen naturally when the wind blows and it blows the seeds into the field, or when people plant seeds. And here is a photo for you of the dandelion. Now you'll see that its seeds, you know these, are very, very light. So when the wind blows, it's very easy for them to just fall into the ground, okay? This one, the seeds on ears of wheat. go. And this one was what I spoke about, the pea seeds in a pod. And here we have the seeds that are inside of the fruit. And yes, everything else that you mentioned, the strawberries, the apple, will all have seeds inside. Okay. Before we do this activity, by identifying the different parts of a flowering plant, let's quickly recap. Let's look at all the 5 parts that we just mentioned. Quickly type in your chat box if you can remember all the parts. Just see a plant in your mind and then start from the bottom and tell me what we spoke about. There were 5 things that we mentioned. I'm going to look at your chat box. We started with roots. That's right. What's the next part? Now, I don't want you guys to name all the plants we just saw. I want you to name the parts. We started with roots, and then when it grows upwards, we will see something that starts with a S. A stem. Good. And then from the stem, you will get something with veins in. What is that? It looks like veins, little veins. The leaves. Good. Good. And then what else grows? Yes. The flower, very good. And then it produces what is inside? Seeds. Very, very good. So those are all your different parts of a plant. Well done. Because we're going to look at a sketch of a plant and then we'll label it. But I just want to give you guys some guidelines and you can remember this for the rest of your school career and after, okay? When we need to label drawings, always use a straight line and don't do it freehand. Always use a ruler. And start from the part that you want to label and draw a straight line. The label lines must touch the part of the drawing being labeled because your teacher needs to see which part are you referring to. And the line must be parallel to the bottom of your page. So straight lines, okay? Please use a ruler. You want to keep your work neat and scientific, and that is the way we do it, okay? Then write the names for each part neatly underneath each other. Try and make your writing underneath each other so it looks neat. Don't just write it randomly wherever on the page. Now we're going to use the following labels to identify the different parts of the plant. So we are going to look at all 5 things we just discussed, where the roots are, and I'm going to ask you guys again to tell me what the functions are. I want to see if you remember. Then we are going to look at the stem, where the stem is. This will also be your homework, so you have to listen, okay? The leaves, the flower, and the seed. Here's your picture. So let's quickly follow the instructions that I just gave about labeling. Just see, I see there's a lot going on here in the chat box. Okay, you guys were just answering my previous question. Well done. Okay. Remember I said when you label something, we are going to use a straight line with a ruler. Try to get it all the lines in a line here, okay? So that you don't have something written here and something written here and the way. It can go both ways, doesn't matter. Keep it neat. What is this part of the plant? I want you to quickly write in your chat box. Which one? Is it the root, the stem, the leaf, the flower, or the seed? Yes. Flower, flower, flower. And everyone is saying flower. Good. Guys, remember, I see some of you say you've done this already. That's fine. We are doing revision at the moment of what you did last term. Okay. It's good to know all of these because in your school career, you're going to build on this. You will always go and do the same things. You will just learn more about it. Okay, so it's good to know these. Right, basically all of you are right, my Smarty class. This is the flower. Our next one, here's the line. What is this one? Quickly type in your chat box. What do you call this? Good, Zoe, you are right. Good, I think Gabriel. Somebody look carefully, Cindy. I'm not referring to this. I'm referring to this little thing here. I'm also not referring to this, guys. Just this little thing here. What's this? It is the seed. So for those of you who wrote seed, well done. Our next part, what's this one? And on this, you will see a lot of veins. Yes. All of you are right. This is an easy one. It's the leaf. I'm going to make it more difficult for you just now because you guys are just too smart. Okay. Our next one. What is this part called? This. Good. Most of you, not all of you have it right. Most of you have it right. Not this, okay? We're not talking about this. I'm speaking about from here, this one. The backbone. Good. There you've got it. It's a stem. Good job. And then the last part here. What are these called? Quickly write it for me in your. Oh, I see a lot of you have already. See again, Smarty class. You're too fast. What's this? Good job, guys. The roots. Easy to label the plant, right? Now, when we started speaking earlier, I started telling you from the bottom up what everything is. So now, this is what I'm going to ask you because this was way too easy. So I want to know, what are the functions of the roots? Joda, wow, good job. I want everyone to quickly type the functions of the roots for me. What does it do? Remember what we said earlier, it something, the plant, and it absorbs something, do something. Can you quickly write it for me? What is the function of the roots? I have one very good answer here as well. Good. Good. Nakwanda, good. Siseku, good. Yes. Okay, I'm going to tell you again and then you guys can remember. Let's think of 3 things of the roots, okay? Firstly, it anchors the plant in place. So this keeps this plant in place. If there were no roots, this thing will just fall over. Okay, so it anchors the plant. Next, it absorbs water and nutrients in the soil. So here, all the nutrients and all the food, it will absorb it. Okay, so it eats it basically. And then the third thing, it will store extra sugar and starch and stuff here in the root. So it will store the food. Okay. So it enters the plant and it absorbs water and nutrients. Now let's move up to the stem. This is the stem. What is the function of a stem? Can you write it for me quickly? What does the stem do? Why is the stem important? We are going to look at two things. I'm looking for two things in the stem that I want you to tell me. Remember the stem. If there's no stem, there will be no, what's this growing from the stem? All of this won't be there if there is no stem, right? So what will we say? The stem supports. Yes, to keep it up is right. In your own words, that's exactly what it means. It keeps the plant up and it supports the plant structure. So it supports the leaves, it supports the flower, it supports the seeds. That's why I said it's like the backbone. Everything grows from the stem. And then also remember we said that from the roots we'll take nutrients, but where do those nutrients go? They have to go somewhere. So the stem will keep the nutrients up. It will support it. So it takes the minerals and the water from the roots and it transports it to the rest of the plant. Next one, let's look at the leaves. What are the functions of the leaves? Who can tell me that? Yes, it's the leaves, but what do leaves do? Why is it important that there are leaves? I'm looking for two big words. Do you remember the big word that I said that you need to know the word, but you don't need to know the whole process because you'll learn about it next year? Some of you gave me the answer earlier. That's the one word I'm looking for. And then the other word I'm looking for is, if I can describe it to you, it is when a leaf, it's like sweating. It loses water. Aha. Yes, it is excreting, you are right, but the process is called photosynthesis. Well done. Good. And yes, making the oxygen, what do you call that? One of you wrote make oxygen. What is the scientific term there? When it loses water in exchange for carbon dioxide, what do you call that? So the one is photosynthesis. The photosynthesis is the process that the plant uses to produce food. And this is what the leaves will do. And then the other thing the leaf does is transpiration. Transpiration, like I said, it's like sweating. It's the loss of water in exchange for carbon dioxide. Remember yesterday we said how humans breathe and that we breathe in we breathe in oxygen and breathe out carbon dioxide. And with plants, it's the other way around. They make oxygen for us to breathe. Okay, the next thing we look at is going to be the flower. Let's look at the flower first, because the seeds normally come from the flower. What is the function of the flower? Something, just think about the beauty of a flower. Why is it so beautiful? It needs to attract something. That's the first thing. And then you can also think what does the flower hold? What is inside sometimes? Yes, indeed, you are right. It attracts bees, and bees are very necessary. And it attracts other insects. And then pollen can go from one flower to the next, right? Makwanda, you are right. The reproduction, it It's to do with reproduction. It actually contains the reproductive organs of the plant. You are absolutely right. Well done. There are seeds inside. Yes, very good. Yes, it attracts butterflies as well. Okay, now let's speak about the seed, because sometimes, or a lot of seeds are in the flowers, yes. But now I want you to specifically tell me why the seeds are important. What is the function of a seed? What does it do? Think about what happens when the wind takes it somewhere else. What happens? There we go. Nokwanda, good job. Yes. We need the seed to make a new plant. That's its main function. Okay. To reproduce, yes. We need the seed to fall into the ground, and then if it meets the right conditions, it will germinate and a new plant will grow. Good job, guys. Okay, that one that we just did together now, remember that's also going to be your homework. Okay, so basically you you don't have to give me all the functions, although next time I think I should ask you that because you're so smart. But your homework is going to be just to label the plant. Okay, let's quickly have a look at comparing plants. There's obviously visible differences between plants. In other words, things that we can see are different. Not all plants are the same. There are different kinds of plants. And if you look at different plants, you can see many things that are different, but also many things that are the same, but they don't all look the same. Okay, we know that most plants have stems, roots, leaves, and many others have flowers and seeds and fruit, like the basic structure we just looked at. Now, if you want to compare plants, we can compare the structures of the plant. So that's how we do it. If I tell you to compare two plants with each other, I want you to look at the structures that we just mentioned and look at. You can look at different plant structures of plants. We can compare the size. So if your teacher or someone asks you to compare plants, you can always compare the size of all the structures, the colors, how they differ in color, and how they differ in shape. Or you can ask important questions about the plant, like, does it make flowers? Does it lose its leaves in autumn? Animals eat the plant or parts of the plant, and of course then can humans eat the plant? These are all questions you can ask when you compare two plants with each other. And then you guys can also think of some other important questions that you could ask when you compare plants. We are going to compare different plants just using our eyes as our guides. So I have a photo that I'm going to show you. One is of a banana plant. You can see there what's growing there. And this plant is a basil plant. Okay. Photos of the banana palm and the basil plant, and I want you to tell me how many differences you can see. So when you write your differences, look at the leaves that are maybe different, the shape. Are the colors different or not? Do you see fruit in one or do you see fruit in both? Quickly jot down for me some differences that you can see in these two pictures. I'm going to look at your chat box and see what you guys write. Yes, the leaves are different. But what about them? Is the color different or is the shape different? The shape is different. Good. What can you see about the fruit? And are there flowers present? Does one maybe have a flower and the other one not? The size is different. Good. Yeah, bananas on the tree and basil is a leaf. Okay, you see the banana tree has fruit and the basil does not. Good. Answers are good, guys. One is fruit. Okay. You just did a comparison between two plants. So you see, that's the way you are going to do it. Okay. If you compare things, you look at all these structures and you compare the structures to see what are different. Okay, now here you are going to see two plants, this one and this one, grow in the same conditions. One is water lilies, this one, and then are the reeds. And the conditions are exactly the same for both of them, but they look completely different. Okay, now I want you to look at it closer, and if you can compare them for me, I want you to do that right now. Write differences and similarities between the plant structures of the water lilies and the reeds. Here is a guide for you. We are specifically going to look at the stems. Now tell me, what can you see about the stem of the water lily? Let's look at the bigger picture quickly. Here are stems, those ones. Okay. Let me see what you guys are writing. Aha, there I'm getting some answers I like. The water lily stems, it's a single straight thin stem. Some of you said small, and I know you meant thin with that. It is single and it's straight and it's thin. And the reeds, they are tall, right? And it's woody. The roots. Okay, now I showed you a picture, but you cannot see the roots. So if you cannot see that part of the plant, you cannot compare. So we just say the roots are not visible. And with reeds, we also can't see the roots. So we cannot comment on them. If we look at the leaves, what are different about the leaves? Okay. The color is different. You are right. The sizes are different. And the shapes are different. We saw to lily that it's round leaves and it's made like that. Now let's look at flowers or seeds. Now look in the small picture. What do you see here with the water lilies? What do you see there? The water lilies has beautiful flowers, and the reeds, do they have flowers? No, they have seeds, and the seeds are dispersed by the wind. Yes, it is basically heart-shaped leaves, you are right. Okay, so that is how you will compare two different plants, but they grow in the same condition. Let's quickly recap because we're getting to the end of our lesson, and I quickly want to show you your homework. Remember that all plants have a basic structure of roots and stems and leaves. Flowering plants also have flowers and fruits and seeds. Okay, we can see how plants are different. And when we do that, we compare the size of the plant, the shape, the color of roots, of stems, leaves, flowers, fruits, and seeds. So when someone asks you to compare the two things, the two plants, that is what you'll be looking at. Okay. Let's look at this one quickly. You guys, we did this exercise before, so I'm not going to let you do it right now. But here you will see the structure of a plant again. And what I want you to know is the function of the roots, the function of the stem, function of the leaves, and then the function of the fruit and the flower. Okay. Now this is going to be your homework. You have to identify the different parts of a flowering plant by labeling it. And you will use the 5 labels: root, stem, leaf, flower, and seed. So you just need to, you can draw the plant if you want, that would also be good. But remember what I said about labels. You need to use a ruler, or you can do it on a computer with straight lines, and then just add the labels. Okay. Now tomorrow we are going to look at the structure of animals. And here is my email for you that you can send your picture to me, your homework, so that I can have a look at it. You don't need to write down all the structure, functions of all the different parts, but it would be great if you guys could remember what important functions they have. But for now, I just want you to label the plant for me, okay? You can draw the plant, or I uploaded the homework for you. Karen, if you did it, you can just send me a photo. Okay. Right, you guys, thank you for today. I'm looking forward to tomorrow. We will be looking at some animals. Thank you for joining me, and we'll speak again tomorrow. Have a great day, guys. Bye-bye.
Bye, everyone.